The window is closing for an Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal ahead of President-elect Trump's inauguration in just 17 days, with negotiations ongoing as the clock continues to run down. This morning, dozens of hostages are still in Gaza. President Biden said getting a deal done was a top priority in his final days as commander-in-chief, with President-elect Trump claiming there would be, quote, hell to pay in the Middle East if Hamas did not release the hostages by his second term in the White House. It's been more than 2 years since the October 7th attack in Israel. And just days ago, one of the hostages, 21-year-old Edan Alexander, spent his second birthday in captivity. His family celebrating in his honor here in the States. And joining us now is Edan's father, Edan Alexander. Edan, I read your story. It's almost impossible not to get emotional. I can't imagine you putting into words what your family's been through. And I know you've mentioned on other outlets that you don't celebrate the holidays anymore, but your son turned 21 on Sunday. What did that video that was recently released mean to you, and how are you remembering your son on his birthday?
Good morning, Kelly. So this video, it was a first sign of life for us. Other hostages saw him back in November of last year. From the first stage of releases, but we didn't. And for us, it was heartbreaking, but it was encouraging. We saw our son alive, and that was a major point for us.
Absolutely, and his strength, just unbelievable. You know, this is the second birthday, as we outlined, he's had while being held captive by Hamas. More than 400 days you've been without him. In this recent video, I found it really notable that your son asked the president-elect to use his influence and full power the U.S. to bring the hostages home. And Trump has said that he wants the hostages returned home before he returns to the White House. Are you hopeful a deal can be hammered out in the next 2.5 weeks?
Yeah, I hope so. Our feeling is that the party is using the January 20th as a deadline, hoping that this issue will be passed over the finish line by this date. And in referring to the president's remark, I think he needs to be tough with the friends and with the enemies as well. And I'm sure behind the scenes he does that.
So Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu did reach out to your family, spoke with Edan's mother about a month ago, and said then that conditions were, quote, ripe to bring the hostages home. I'm curious, any contact from the Prime Minister since that conversation?
Not at all. These negotiations right now are conducting quietly and privately. We don't hear any signs of collapse of negotiation, but it goes really slow, too much.
Yeah, I'll say. What specific action, Edan, would you like to see from the U.S. government to ensure all the hostages are returned home safely?
Just rise above politics and work with collaboration between the current administration and the upcoming administration. I know they do that. And again, just we have to be tough with the friends and with the enemies to resolve that issue. It's been 16 months too long.
Yeah. How do you keep yourself going? How do you continue to do these interviews all across media platforms and keep your son's name in the public sphere?
Just go on autopilot. We have no choice. The hope is mandatory. Our kid is strong. In that video, he referred to us and he implored us to stay positive and stay strong. And this is what we do every day.
Yeah. Well, God bless you and your family. We will continue to keep you in our prayers. Hopeful for your son's safe return. We'll be excited for the day. Edan Alexander, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.